Let us continue with the next type of nutrition, that is heterotrophic nutrition. So, heterotrophic nutrition is categorized, broadly classified into four types. One is parasitic, symbiotic, saprotrophic and holozoic. We will be taking one by one what are these and include their examples. So, coming on to the first type, parasitic mode of nutrition. It's a type of nutrition in which we have two organisms which are involved. One organism is the organism which is at harm because it is deprived of the nutrition. It provides nutrition to the other one, whereas the other one is at benefit because it takes nutrition from the first one. So, in this way, there are two organisms here. One organism that provides nutrition to the other, that is called as a host, and the organism that procures or that takes nutrition from the host, that is called as a parasite. For example, now there are two types of parasites. Parasites, they are broadly categorized into two types. One is ectoparasite and other is endoparasite. Ecto and endoparasite. So, ectoparasites are those organisms which feed or derive their nutrition from the surface of surface of the body of the host. So, ecto means outer, endo means inside, okay, outside or outer, and endo means inside. So, organisms that derive their nutrition from the outside or outer surface of the body of the host, they are called as ectoparasites. Whereas organisms that procure their nutrition by living inside the body of the organism, those are called as endoparasites. And we are very much aware of such type of parasites. Best example of ectoparasite is your leech. Leech, what happens? It sticks onto the surface of the host and takes in nutrition, that is sucks blood. So the leech is at benefit and it is called as the parasite, whereas the organism or you can say the human body from where it sucks the blood. So we've become the host. Similarly, there are many lice, hair lice. So lice, they also suck blood. They are in the hairs of young girls and all. So what happens? The lice suck blood from the human body. So human become the host and lice is the parasite. So these are example of ectoparasites and there are many. Okay. Then endoparasites, there are different worms. Again, in young children, very small children, they have worms in their gut. So those worms, what do? They deprive the child of all the nutrition. So worm become the parasite and the child becomes the host. So then there are many like one more, Taenia solium or tapeworm. Okay. Then you have liver fluke or fasciola. These are zoological names. So liver fluke, simple name, or fasciola, we have studied in 9th and all. So all these are examples of endoparasites. I hope it is clear. Parasitic mode of nutrition is a type of nutrition in which one organism provides food to the other and therefore it is at harm. So organism which is at harm is the host and the other organism which gets benefit because it takes in the nutrition from host is called as a parasite. Depending upon how the parasite, where it is living and from where does it procure food, it is divided into ectoparasite and endoparasite. Ectoparasites are those that are on the surface of the body of the host and then they suck and derive their nutrition from the host. Examples, leech, lice and many other. Then endoparasites, they live inside the body of the host and then take the nutrition of that body or the host. So these are like these, worms and flukes and so on. Fine. Now we move on to symbiotic nutrition. Let's rub this. So we are focused on only onto the one which we are which we have to study right now. So symbiotic nutrition also, there there are two organisms involved. But the thing is that both the organisms are at benefit. Nobody is at harm. Both are at benefit. Nobody is at harm. How? For example, lichens. In the lower classes we have studied lichens is a symbiotic association of an algae and a fungus. Okay. Algae and fungus, they both live together. It's a symbiotic association. So what is the benefit that algae does for fungus? Algae is green in color, so it is able to make food for both of them. So it prepares food. Okay. And fungus has the ability to absorb moisture and provide it to the algae, and in turn it gets shelter also. It gets shelter due to algae. So it provides moisture to the algae to make food, and also it gets a substratum to attach onto it. Okay. So both of them are at benefit. One gets food from the other, and this one gets moisture from the fungus. Getting it? So, symbiotic association is called as mutual. Mutual means in between two, beneficial, both are benefited. Mutual beneficial relationship existing between two organisms is called as symbiotic association. So, the best example lichens. Then you have another one, that is rhizobium, residing in the root nodules of leguminous plants. So rhizobium bacteria, it gets shelter in the root nodules of leguminous plants. These are nodules. If the leguminous plant, this is a root, then there are nodules. Here this rhizobium resides, so it gets a shelter. And what does this do? So rhizobium gets shelter, and what happens to this? It makes available, how is the plant benefited? Rhizobium converts atmospheric nitrogen into assimilable form of nitrogen, which can be absorbed by the plant. Okay. It cannot absorb nitrogen directly, the plant. So rhizobium converts atmospheric nitrogen into assimilable form of nitrogen, that is nitrates, etc. Then the plant absorbs it. And rhizobium, how is it benefited? It gets a shelter in the nodules. So this is how, what is symbiotic relationship, how it is maintained. Okay. So this is all about symbiosis. Next two we will be doing in the next module. Okay. Thank you.